Welcome to Coins Numismatic Series, where every coin has a story, and every story could be worth a fortune. Feel the rush of history in your hands. Imagine pulling a simple quarter from your pocket and discovering it could be worth thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars. These aren't just coins. They're silent witnesses to a turning point in American history, forged during a time when silver vanished, change swept the nation, and collectors began hunting for mistakes that should never have existed. Today, we're diving deep into two extraordinary coins that look ordinary at first glance, but hide stories, secrets, and staggering value beneath their worn surfaces. 1979 George Washington $quarter coin with mint mark D in dirty condition. The 1979 Washington quarter minted in Denver is one of those coins that, at first glance, seems completely ordinary. Produced in massive numbers during a time when coin circulation was at its peak, this quarter was designed to serve daily commerce, not to become a collector's centerpiece. Yet, over time, certain examples, especially those in what collectors call dirty condition, have sparked a surprising level of interest. Let's begin with its historical context. By 1979, the United States Mint had long transitioned away from silver coinage, and quarters were composed of a copper-nickel-clad structure. This means the coin consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability for circulation. The Denver Mint, identified by the D mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of these quarters, making it one of the most widely circulated coins of its era. Now, here's where things get interesting. A dirty condition coin is not simply a coin that's been neglected. In numismatic terms, it often refers to coins that have developed natural toning, environmental staining, or embedded surface debris over years of circulation. While casual observers might see grime or discoloration, seasoned collectors often see character, originality, and sometimes even rarity. The design of the 1979 quarter remains faithful to the iconic Washington series. On the obverse, you'll find a left-facing portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. The word liberty arches above, while I in God we trust sits to the left of Washington's profile. The date, 1979, rests at the bottom. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle dominates the center, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. In dirty condition, however, this design can take on a completely different appearance. The recessed areas of the coin, like the grooves in Washington's hair or the feathers of the eagle, often accumulate darker toning. This contrast can actually enhance the visual depth of the design, making details stand out in ways that a bright, cleaned coin cannot replicate. Mintage numbers for the 1979 D quarter exceeded 489 million coins. That's an enormous number, which is why most examples are only worth face value. But here's the twist. Condition and uniqueness can completely change that equation. Coins that exhibit unusual toning patterns, natural patina, or even dirty surfaces that have not been tampered with can attract niche collector interest. One of the most sought-after aspects in these coins is the presence of mint errors. In 1979 D quarters, collectors have reported off-center strikes, die cracks, and even minor double die features. When these errors appear on a coin that has developed a naturally aged, dirty surface, the appeal can increase significantly. Why? Because it tells a story. It's a coin that not only left the mint imperfectly, but also survived decades in circulation, accumulating history along the way. Market value for a standard 1979 D quarter in circulated condition is typically just 25 cents. However, in uncirculated grades, values can climb to a few dollars. Now, when you factor in unique toning or error features, prices can jump dramatically. Some error coins have sold for $50, $100, or even more, depending on the severity and rarity of the mistake. Add in a distinctive, dirty appearance that enhances the coin's character, and you have something collectors may be willing to pay a premium for. Collector interest in these coins has grown steadily, particularly among those who appreciate original surfaces. In the coin collecting world, cleaning a coin is often considered a mistake because it removes the natural patina that develops over time. So, a dirty coin that has not been cleaned is sometimes more desirable than a shiny one that has been altered. There's also a psychological element at play. These coins represent hidden value. The idea that something overlooked and seemingly insignificant could actually be worth far more. It's this sense of discovery that drives many collectors to search through rolls of quarters, hoping to find that one unique piece. Another factor to consider is the role of grading. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on their condition, strike quality, and overall appearance. A dirty coin, if it retains its original surfaces and has not been damaged, can still receive a respectable grade. In fact, some coins with attractive natural toning have been graded higher due to their eye appeal. So, what should you look for if you're searching for a valuable 1979 D quarter in dirty condition? Pay attention to unusual coloration, especially deep browns, blues, or even rainbow hues. 1980 George Washington $quarter coin with mint mark P and dirty condition. The 1980 George Washington $quarter coin, minted in Philadelphia, identified by the absence of a mint mark or simply referred to as the P mint issue, is one of those coins that quietly circulates under the radar. At first glance, especially in a dirty or heavily circulated condition, it might seem insignificant. Its surface may be dull, covered in years of grime, oils, and environmental exposure. But beneath that worn exterior lies a coin with historical relevance, subtle design characteristics, and, in some cases, surprising collector value. The obverse of the 1980 Washington quarter continues the iconic portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. By 1980, this design had already been in use for decades, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth. On a dirty example, Washington's profile may appear flattened, with reduced detail in the hair and cheek contours. However, even in such condition, the strength of the original engraving can often still be appreciated under proper lighting. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle dominates the design, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. In dirty condition, this side of the coin can appear especially muted, with the fine feather details nearly lost under layers of wear and debris. Yet, this is where collectors often begin to notice subtle anomalies. Dirt accumulation can sometimes highlight recessed areas, making certain design elements appear more pronounced than they actually are. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of these quarters in 1980, making them very common in general circulation. However, the true interest begins when we talk about condition rarity and minting anomalies. Coins that have survived in uncleaned but naturally aged states, what collectors sometimes refer to as original dirty patina, can be quite appealing. This natural toning, even when dark or uneven, is often preferred over cleaned coins, which may lose their originality and numismatic appeal. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1980p quarter is the presence of minor die errors and striking inconsistencies. Weak strikes, especially on the reverse eagle's breast feathers, are not uncommon. In some cases, collectors have identified double die characteristics, though these are extremely subtle and require magnification to confirm. Additionally, off-center strikes and clipped planchets, while rare, have been documented and can significantly increase the value of an otherwise ordinary coin. Now, let's talk about value. In heavily circulated and dirty condition, a standard 1980p quarter is typically worth face value. However, this changes dramatically when certain factors come into play. A coin with an unusual error, even in dirty condition, can fetch anywhere from $20 to several $100 depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. For example, a 1980p quarter with a noticeable off-center strike might sell for $50 to $150, while a more dramatic mint error could push values even higher. Another factor influencing value is the presence of natural toning combined with minimal wear. A coin that appears dirty but retains strong underlying detail can be quite desirable. Collectors often look for coins that have not been cleaned or altered, as these maintain their historical authenticity. In some auction cases, coins described as original dirty surfaces with strong eye appeal have outperformed cleaner but less character-rich examples. Collector interest in the 1980p Washington quarter has grown steadily, particularly among those who specialize in modern coinage and error coins. While it may not be considered a key date in the traditional sense, its accessibility makes it an ideal candidate for collectors hunting for hidden gems in circulation. The thrill of finding a valuable error coin in a seemingly ordinary, dirty quarter adds an element of excitement that keeps collectors searching. Ultimately, the 1980 George Washington quarter with a Philadelphia origin proves that value is not always about pristine condition. Sometimes, it's about the story told through wear, the uniqueness of an error, and the untouched authenticity of a coin that has truly lived through decades of circulation.